So I woke up this morning and was spending time with God, and I was just crying out. I was crying out, and I let him know, a lot of things and how I've been feeling. And one of the words that I used was abandoned. Fast forward to later in the day, my mom called, and she was just talking about all the blessings that are occurring in her life right now. And she said she remembers going through a season to where she felt like she wasn't being heard. And she just remembered feeling abandoned. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I just believe God was like, I'm with you. And he was using my mom to do it. And it was so encouraging. So I remember this season in my mom's life because I was like a teenager. And I just remember my mom having a season of isolation, frustration, depression, just seeming like nothing is going right. A lot of things hitting you at one time, and you just in a season where you wonder when it's gonna end. Like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? Especially when you are doing your best to walk obediently and wanting to obey and wanting, to please God by your walk, and it just seems like it's getting worse. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dog, like, come on, Lord, like, what's up? Why are you doing this? Just really feeling abandoned and feeling lost and feeling alone and wondering what is going on. Like, I really thought I was being obedient when I took this path, and it's like, why am I being hit like this, And then for my mom to say that, it was just so encouraging, because when you're in the thick of things, you tend to forget that people have their own stories and experiences that are relatable to what you may be enduring in the moment. So for her to say that just really uplifted me and encouraged me, because she's definitely living in the overflow right now. In the story of Job, when God allowed the enemy to strip Job for God's glory, and then when it was all over, God gave him double for his trouble, that's what my mom's experiencing right now. And it's beautiful to see and witness. I guess it's just encouraging for me and to anyone else who may be experiencing the same thing to not give up and to keep going, because there is glory on the other side of your heartache. There is glory on the other side of your difficulty. There is glory on the other side of what you're experiencing and what you're going through. And it's difficult in the midst of it because it's happening to you, but God's word speaks so plainly and clearly to not giving up, that we should feel joy and blessed when trials and difficulty hit, because it's building our endurance. I just read it this morning in James 1. It says, that's my son right there. What did I have? In James 1, it says, hold up, let me find it. James 1:2. Consider it a great joy, my brothers, whenever you experience various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance. But endurance must do its complete work, so that you may be mature and complete, lacking nothing. And it just keeps going on. And then in Galatians, it tells us to, and going through it, it's easy to be like, going through it, it's like, man, I don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when you in the thick of it, it's like I speak for myself. Sometimes in the thick of it, I be in my feelings, I be in my flesh, and I be having pity parties. And it's like, oh no, I don't want to hear that, because I feel like, why am I going through this? Like, I'm trying to be obedient. I'm really trying to walk righteously with you. So why are you allowing me to experience so much difficulty? You know what I'm saying? But that's a part of the walk, and that's a part of the journey. And it's like, it always points back to Christ. It always points back to Christ, like what Christ had to go through for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, this walk ain't no joke, and when God is wanting to do something in your life, he has to develop you. He has to develop your character. And a lot of times, the only way your character can be developed is through difficulty. Not a lot of times, the way your character is developed is through difficulty. I remember a woman who was a part of my church faith family, and she passed from cancer. Her name was Miss Deb. And I remember her saying, we live in the valley. We don't live on the mountaintops. We live in the valley, because the valley is what develops us. The valley is what teaches us the most, you know, and those valleys can be trying and difficult. But, but in Galatians, it says, Galatians 6:9. So we must not get tired of doing good, for we will reap at the proper time if we don't give up. Therefore, as we have an opportunity, we must work for the good of all, especially for those who belong to the household of faith. And when you're going through difficult times, it's easy to get stuck in a rut and just focus on what you're going through and have your eyes focused on the circumstance and the situation. It's like, dang, Lord, like, when is this going to change? Why do I have to experience this? But it's like, it's for a purpose. It's for a plan. It's for the good. And my mom is a living testimony of it. My mom is a living testimony of it, and she reminded me of that today, the faithfulness of God. Like, yeah, in this season over here, because when we're going through these seasons, we feel that we're human. We can't see 5 minutes from now. So we don't know when this is going to end. And then if you're in this thing for years, 10 years to us is a lifetime, but to God, that's a blink. So, you know, my mom was in this season for years over here in the past. And I remember watching her, you know, walk through that and struggle through that. And her probably wondering if she was ever going to get out of it. You know what I'm saying? But now she's in this space over here of just God just blessing her left and right. Like left and right. Just outpouring a blessing. And there's still difficulty in the midst of that, because there's a thorn in the flesh. You know, there's still things there that God uses to keep you humble, you know, but you can just see the difference in those seasons that she walked through. And it was just encouraging. And I'm so thankful that she reminded me of that, because I forgot, you know, because I was focused on my circumstance. I'm focused on what I'm going through instead of being focused on the joy and the process that God has me in, knowing that this is just a season, you know. But anyway, I hope that encourages you. How do you get to God? Through Jesus Christ. Thank you so much for listening, and y'all have a blessed, beautiful, prosperous day.